I think you see what Sam Pittman's doing, and you talk to the coaching staff, and I think it's a lot of good men treating these players, and loving them, caring about them, respecting them, building them up. And then you see, honestly, one of the hardest playing teams in football doesn't, necessarily always, look the way they probably want or execute or probably put as many points as they wanted last week. But I think as a fan of football and as a fan of coaches doing it the right way, you look at Arkansas and you give them a thumbs up for that.
I love what Coach Pittman's done here in terms of the culture. I mean, he embodies everything that this state loves. And it's a noticeable shift, even for those of us that don't live here and aren't here very often. It's a palpable shift in culture and attitude, and the passion of this state for this team and this program is awesome. It's what makes SEC football awesome.
You got to be consistent in the pass game because I think you still got to run the football. This is a team that needs to run the football with KJ, with Smith in the backfield, but you got to be efficient enough that the pass game can be a balance. Now, I would say if I'm watching the film, I throw out all history because if you look back all the way back to Matt Jones, right, was the last quarterback that really was a runner, right? Let's bring that back because if KJ needs to get confident, he needs to get comfortable being a quarterback. Sometimes I started to settle down when I made plays with my feet. It didn't all have to be with my arm, right? So I think using him more targeted in the run game, more specifically designed runs for him, because the ones he did last week were kind of creative, scrambles, right? Things that he made happen. I want to see more designed runs for him, get him involved on the ground. The one thing I'd say, they need to push the ball downfield. They need to find ways to get Traylon Burks the ball downfield. That's one thing I was like, they're going to dial it up. They're really creative in finding ways to get him touches, but I want to see him push down the field because that's where he's at his best. That's where he's a physical mismatch to anybody out there on the field. So it'll come along.
This thing's going to be packed. Your state's going to be watching. The country's going to be watching. Embrace it. Rise up to the moment. I mean, have fun with it. You don't get a lot of opportunities on national TV to play your rival in front of thousands of fans that are cheering for you with momentum behind you. Go out there and play free and, reckless abandon. I think it's a chance for Arkansas to. I don't think they have all the pressure in this game. I think there's more in Texas. I think they can play free and, see if they can go pull an upset.
One of the cool parts of the narrative is that Texas is coming to the SEC. And so this is not only a look at history with all those Southwest Conference battles, and this is one of the great rivalries. So it's going to be really intense, but it's also a vision of the future.
Yeah.
And so it's just really fun and really timely.